anytime the CNE or a fair was in town, first thing I would check to see was if they had a haunted house, and I would always go there. When I was a little kid, I was usually too scared to go all the way through. But then, of course, in the CNE, Canadian National Exhibition, there was the advent of the ride-through roller coaster, or haunted house.
Yeah.
Where you'd sit in this thing and it would just basically drag you through. You had no choice. You were going forward through this thing. And, most of them actually, I found the ride-through ones weren't particularly scary. It was just sort of like, it was fun, but it wasn't terribly scary. I found the ones that scared me most as a kid were the walk-through ones. Where
you go at your own pace and look at stuff, and you step on a panel and then something happens.
Something jumps out at you, yeah. Those were awesome. I loved those as a kid. So I was quite disappointed. I think the last few times I went to the X was they didn't have any walk-through ones. They just had ride-through ones. So I went on all the ride-through ones. But my heart really yearned for a walk-through one. Did I ever tell you about nightmares?
No.
The ultimate walk-through haunted house. It is just the most horrifying, terrifying experience imaginable. Totally unique and original. I was really, really impressed. Nightmares, I don't know if they're still around anymore, but it started off, they had a couple of, they had an attraction, I think it was just called the World's Scariest Haunted House. And it was this old rundown house that they'd sort of modified and turned into this tourist attraction. Then the first time I discovered nightmares was at, the hell was it? It was in Niagara Falls. It was in one of the malls there. They set up they had like a whole sort of wing of the mall that they had turned into this. I guess it was the size of like a big store. But what it was you would go in and it's pitch black. The only thing you have to indicate which way you're supposed to go is there'd be a little tiny pinprick of light up at the top to guide you. And so you follow the pinpricks of light, but other than those little tiny pinpricks of light, you can't see a damn thing. So you basically have to feel your way through. But the thing is, first off, it's a maze. It's a labyrinth, and it changes as you're going through it. Depending how scared you are and how much you scream and react, the more or less they will do to you.
Whoa.
If you're being really brave, they will totally cut loose.
Yeah.
And just do everything in their power to scare the bejesus out of you. Now the thing is, there's guys who work in there.
Right. So
Who set things off as you're going and who do some bang on stuff. Sometimes they'll brush against you, or as happened to a friend of mine, they'll actually forcefully separate you. So this was so priceless. Was my friend John and I were going through one. It was one they'd set up one in I think it was in Mississauga, which was near Toronto. So it was within busing distance of where I was living. I was so thrilled. I said, "Okay, guys, you gotta come. We gotta do the nightmares thing." It's like, "You'll never regret it." I said, "Okay." So we go. John had never been through this thing ever. He'd heard me telling all the stories, and so we go in, and he's there. Sean, I can't see anything. I said, "Okay, well, just hang on to my shirt." It's like, "Okay." So he just holds onto the back of my shirt, right? And I just feel like it's just a tiny little tug there just to indicate that he's there. And so we're walking along, and it's like, okay, we've got a corner coming up here. And I suddenly just heard him yelling. It's like, "Sean!" It's like, "What? Sean! What?" Because I still felt him holding my shirt. But then I realized his voice was getting awfully far away. And they're, "John?" I turn around. "You're not John, are you?" And suddenly, push! Just shoves me into this other room.
Oh!
Shoves me into this other room. The door slams shut behind me. John and I are separated. I have no idea where he is. He has no idea where I am. And all I can see around me is blackness.
Oh, dude.
And you hear things moving through the walls. You hear the shufflings of chains. Sometimes there's you'll feel something wet drag against your leg. It is like the most...
So do the people in there have like a night goggles or something like that?
I have no idea. I assume they must have had something like that. They had some means of knowing where you were. But, holy shit. Sometimes you'll be walking and the corridor will be gradually getting skinnier.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll be walking and walking. It's like, geez, it's getting really tight. And then as soon as it'll angle down, the floor won't change, but it'll angle down. So it's like, so you're being scrunched into this thing and you have to sort of work your way underneath, walking along. Slam! Another door shuts behind you. It's like, oh, okay. Keep walking. Uh-oh. Dead end room. You're locked in. And you can't go until they let you out.
That is not good.
Yeah. That was the most awesome thing ever. That was totally the most incredible.
So how many times did you go through the house?
Oh, so many times. I lost count. I went through so many times.
Well, how much did they charge?
It was like $5.
$5
to go through once, and it lasts about 15-20 minutes. So it's a pretty good run. And then a guy with a chainsaw chases you out at the end. But it was awesome because they would also have the music, like the instrumental music from famous horror movies playing throughout the whole thing. So it was great. Sometimes there were certain parts in the maze where there would be actual objects that you could interact with, you could look at. I remember in the Niagara Falls one, there's one room we went into, and there was actually some extra light in there. It was like a black light, so you could just barely see this shape. It was suddenly we're in the ocean. This long rectangular shape, sort of a shiny curved top. I realized very quickly it was a massive coffin. Now I was going through with, in this case I was with about, I think, 3 other people. There was much bigger crowds at Niagara Falls, so I think they sent through larger groups just to make sure everybody got a chance to try it. I wanted to look in the coffin, but I was too scared.
Oh, yeah? Everybody
else didn't even want to look. To this day, I've always regretted not looking in the coffin. But in the other one, in Mississauga, they had something similar. It was a coffin that was already open. So, slowly look, and then spring! This thing leaps out at you. So like, ah! So like this sort of half moldy corpse sits up and looks at you. And of course you just take off running. Because you're not about to stick around. But it was funny because one time I went through with some people who were just totally freaking out. And, you know, it was scary, but it wasn't really scary. So then I went through the second group of people, this is Niagara Falls, and they were really brave. And I noticed there was just such an escalation of the stuff that was happening to us.
Because they were being brave.
With the brave people, yeah.
Because they don't have to work with the people already freaked.
Yeah, exactly. But, because there's this one part where you go by, it's like this big steel drum and there's chains rattling against it. The first time through it was just like, you know, and just keep moving. But when I went through with the second group, it was just like, bang, bang, bang. They're just going all out. It was crazy. So I think that's about it for my haunted house experiences. Nothing has ever topped nightmares. I will never forget that. I'm really curious. I should actually do a web search on that at some point, see if the world's scariest haunted house is still in operation. Apparently the world's scariest haunted house was by far the most elaborate in the Nightmares chain. I mean, it was a full-blown house that they had converted to the Nightmares specifications. But at the end they would give you a card rating how brave you were. Color-coded.
Cool. I'm imagining that they must have had like I'm thinking if they were to do it right, everyone who was working for you would have an earpiece, and every room would have like a night cam.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, they probably did.
That's probably.
It could be they might have had monitors, or something like that. Because I know cameras like this. Oh, sorry, like this. Didn't exist then. This was like in 1985. But however they did it, they definitely knew what they were doing. Because it was very, very well done.
Because I'm thinking, like, the more stuff that happens, that means you got more people.
Yeah.
You know. And it's just weird to, like, I guess you'd know when people were coming, you'd hear them talking, or they'd be making noise or something like that, but, you know, because, I mean, if you're looking at the pin, you can't see, chances are they wouldn't have been able to see.
That was the thing. You never heard them coming. Ever. They were just there. At the most crucial points. They were always right there. You would hear footsteps walking on the other side of the wall beside you. You would, you know, be walking along and a door would open in front of you. You would say hello, there would be no answer. Or sometimes you would be walking along and you weren't sure which way to go, and a voice would say, "This way." To which you would reply, "No." "This way." They would get like quite agitated. So it's like, okay.
I guess I want to be scared.
I guess I'll go down the hall with the horrible monsters in it. But that was, yeah. It was very,